I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your
Good racing there with you guys.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another presentation of the QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series here from the Kansas Motor Speedway. 3 races left in the playoffs. We're going to see who takes one step closer to winning the championship this season. This, the Door Bangin' Download 165. Catch Door Bangin' Download where you get your podcasts. Spotify with Jake Reeves. It's a good one. We've had Bradley Cooper on that show here from V-Speed. Definitely go and check out that podcast whenever you can. Mention V-Speed. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook. Joining me up in the booth is Sky Shrek to provide color commentary tonight.
Hello.
Hello. Very good. And this is V-Speed. Yes. Excited to be here. I promise she's excited to be here. Anyway. Be a fun one here tonight at Kansas. Let's have a talk about this racetrack. 1.5 miles. And Sky, you mentioned before the show, this is one of your favorite racetracks to race on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it from behind the wheel? What's it like to drive this 1.5 mile racetrack?
Yeah, it's one of the higher banked ones, 17 degrees in the turns. You can really run any lane here. You can go top, you can go bottom. One of those tracks with a lot of options, a lot of different ways you can run it, and that leaves it open to a lot of really close racing and passing opportunities here as well, because you can go either on the top or the bottom, and the line might even change depending on where in the race we are.
Definitely that variable banking, lower on the bottom, a little bit higher in the middle, and the highest up against the outside wall provides great racing always, especially with the warm track conditions. We'll get into that once we get past the qualifying session that we're in currently. That's a quick look at your Kansas Speedway, opened in 2001. But we're in the playoffs, so let's have a look at the schedule. Kansas here on November 5th. Next week, Vegas, and then Talladega to wrap it all up and crown a champion for the first time in the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. A look at the points as they run. Molnix, Gordon, Joyner, and Philbrick have pulled away from 5th place Jason Foskey. Everybody else chasing that 5th place driver. A few drivers not quite mathematically eliminated, but beyond all reasonable doubt have essentially lost their chance at winning this inaugural championship. I would say Carter Lindzen 10th on back and have a very difficult time catching up to your top 9. And with all of that, what do you look for in today's race, Sky?
I think it's going to be a really good one. Obviously, these points battles at the top are going to be the main focus. We've got, 4 cars and within about 6 points of the lead, and a lot of those drivers are going to be starting up front tonight. But even further back in the pack, this is a track that always produces good racing. It puts on a good show. And I expect some of these guys that are a little further back in the playoff standings to try to make jumps up the field tonight and put themselves in a better position for those last 2 races.
Definitely. It's time to go with only 3 races left. You have to start making hay right now. And one driver who has already done his part Well, that's your Dark Ace Digital Pole Award winner. None other than Jesse Gordon. In that 10, we've seen him be fast all season long. He's near the top of the point standings. Let's see if he's able to convert this first place start into a first place finish here tonight at the 1.5 mile in Kansas. Again, thank you to Dark Ace Digital for sponsoring the Pole Award all season long. Let's get down to your grid. Starting on the pole, we just talked about him, Jesse Gordon in the 10, only driver to crack that 30-second bracket. Daniel Mulnex will start in second in the 2. Third spot, Shane Ferguson in the 21. Great start for that driver. Galen Wunsch will start in 4th in the 199. Fifth position at the start of this race will belong to Larry Eddy in the number 4. Tristan Pena starts 6th in the 55. 7th spot, Ronnie Joyner looking for that points championship. Stephen Mago will start alongside him. That is row 4, 7th, and 8th. 9th position tonight, Jason Foskey in the 29. Austin Thomas rounds out your top 10.
Looking further back in the field, we've got the 6th of Quentin Stewart rolling off 11th with Brandon Yates to the outside of him in 12th. Row 7, 13th will be CJ Gates in the 14 with Brent Allen in 13th, starting 14th. 15th place tonight, Carter Linz in the 26th, and on his outside in the 8th row will be Reed Sanders in the 17. Starting 17th will be Tyler Autry in the 81, and Ryan Philbrick in the 06 rolls off 18th. Last row on the field tonight is going to be Patrick McPeak starting 19th in the 61, and Ethan Wisnowski not posting a qualifying time in the 5. And Mike Petrin is your race control for tonight. That'll be your grid here at Kansas.
All right, let's get down trackside. Rather high above this Kansas Speedway as we get to see it in all of its glory. Truck still sitting on pit road waiting for everyone to hit the grid. I think now that Tristan Pena joined, we are all there. Let's have a chat about race analysis while we wait for the drivers to roll. 110 laps here tonight will make up the scheduled distance. Pit road speed, 45 miles an hour. Lucky for the drivers, this is one of the easier pit roads to get onto in all of the oval racing circuits. A lot of grip on the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Makes it pretty easy to roll that bottom. 5 tire sets available. I highly doubt drivers use all 5, but hey, stranger things have happened. 2 green-white checkers. Hopefully we don't use them both like we did in Daytona to start the season. But if we do, they're there, just in case. 43 to 47 laps on fuel, 100% in the tank. This will be a 2-stopper, absolutely. iRacing fixed setup as always. No balance of power adjustments made to these vehicles tonight, as well as no fast repairs. So you've got what you got. We've seen that bite a few drivers already in these playoffs, having early exits from events. Don't want to have that happen tonight if you are running for that championship, or if you're running at all for that matter. We've got the field all grouped up, rolling through turn number 3. Matter of moments, we will be green for race number 3 of the playoffs. Gordon and Mulnex will lead them to the green. So we get a close-up of the flagman. We're racing here at Kansas. Big accident already.
They are. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Carter Linz just got right hooked from the bottom of the racetrack across traffic. We saw him force 3 wide on that initial start, and that is a bad start for the 26, 10th in points currently. Let's go back and see what happened.
Yeah, a couple drivers who are in the chase getting caught up in that accident. Only about 1 turn in. Big send on the inside there, and it just didn't work. I don't think the 6 knew they were 4 wide. Contact between those cars takes out that entire line, and a couple of them going spinning into the fence up there.
Yeah, I can't say that that was a terribly surprising result considering how late that move came. Let's go back on board this time from the roof and have a look at what happened here. You can see not a great start for the 6. get 26 out of the inside and simply not enough room.
Yeah, a lot of aggression really early. Carter Lynn's, like you said, 10th in the points. He's trying to make something happen early in this race, and that is not the something he wanted to happen.
Absolutely not. You can see his tailgate flopping through the breeze. That is not what the 26 needed.
Not at all.
We should see him on pit road. Quentin Stewart probably as well, with a little bit of damage from having that truck cross his nose. Everyone involved in that accident on the pit lane. Stewart, Allen, Philbrick, Gates, Linz, and Yates. Everybody else staying out. Your top 14 will stay on the racetrack. Molnick's able to grab the lead away as they exited turn 2. First lead change of the day happening on lap number 1 before they even got back to the flag.
And Ryan Philbrick kind of barely dodged that accident. He was the first car behind it when it happened. And that is huge for him because he's coming into this race 6 points out of the championship lead. If he would have gotten caught up in that, that would have been devastating for him in the hunt for the title. But he's managed to make it through that accident. Doesn't look like he took any real damage there. Just barely snuck through, and he'll be good to continue in the race.
And that 06 is looking as good as it always does. See a little bit here from the high line. Yeah, minimal damage, if any, on the 06. Should be able to continue without much of an issue. Only thing he doesn't have is track position, although fuel only on the stop. Try and help that later in the race here.
Definitely some cars involved in that early who are kind of on the low end of the playoff standings. Brent Allen's also kind of at the back, and he's going to have to work his way up. He was another car who just barely managed to sneak his way through that accident. So a couple drivers having some really, really close calls early on in this race, but I think Brent Allen and the 06 Ryan Philbrick, who had a little bit of contact with each other, are both good to go.
I think Carter Linz, even though he definitely suffered the worst of that damage, truck doesn't look all that bad. I mean, he's got a little bit of a wrinkle on the left front and the left rear, but the right side looks okay. Spoilers maybe a little bit bent. Get a zoom in shot there. There it is. Yeah, a little, got a scrape on about every corner of that truck, so maybe not as good as it looked. The silver does a good job of hiding it, but definitely not the start that playoff driver was looking for. He's going to try and get that damage repaired the best he can. The field's already rolling, turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, he should be pretty good unless he gets in a photo finish, and then that nose being bent in might not help him at all.
And we have seen that in this series before. Definitely seen photo finishes, very close ones. Races decided by inches, and it's happened at Kansas. The closest finish in NASCAR history happened right here, if you can believe it. In fact, I think we all know because it happened earlier this year with Buescher and Larson at the start-finish line. Unbelievable finish there, surpassing the mark set in 2003 at Darlington by Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch, which was also an epic finish, one of the more epic ones in the history of NASCAR. I'm not sure if you know, Sky, but I hold that record for closest V-speed finish. Happened here in QSR. 4-wide finish across the line at Talladega. So,
Oh boy.
yes, it was quite something.
I'm surprised y'all made it 4-wide at Talladega without wrecking each other. That's usually what happens at Talladega.
So am I.
Even in real life.
Very surprised as well, but it worked out that day, and always fun racing here in QSR. All these drivers feel the same way. Put on a good show here. Quentin Stewart and team, Ethan Wisnowski, Austin Dowdy do a great job making sure that this thing goes around the way it's supposed to.
And we're watching these cars roll through 3 and 4 here. The lights on the pace car are off, so it's going to pull off this time, and we'll be going back green. It's Daniel Molnick's on the outside, Jesse Gordon on the inside, and they're right up on each other's doors. They don't want to give each other any space as we come back to the green.
These two drivers have had issues already this season. More fireworks to go here.
Maybe. Pace car's pulling off. They're in the restart zone, and Daniel Molnick's ascended back to green on lap 6.
Easy clear for the 2. He's going to get up by a truck length into turn number 1. Gordon to the inside, got another almost 3 wide further back with Patrick Peak and company.
Battle back there. Oh, we're almost going 3 wide further up front. There. Taking a look to the inside. inside of once, but he can't quite get the move to stick. Cars all over the place. Like I said, you see some cars right in that top line, cars right around the bottom, whole lot of different
launches
approaches.
around.
You can try, and we've got a car loose through the grass. Keeps it straight, it looks like, for now.
Terrific drive.
Hey, he's going to go to the back, but he doesn't have any damage on that thing, and he kept it straight, so he'll live to fight another day. As Joyner and Foskey are side by side for 7th, and then Thomas and Sanders right back behind him for 9th.
Good connection issue there for Pena in the 55. See him right in front of Philbrick, who is carving through this field. Remember, he pit on that last caution. He's up to 6. He's already gained 8 spots since the restart.
Hey, he's moving, definitely our biggest mover at this race since he started all the way back in 18th. Reed Sanders also up 16%. Some cars making big moves early, just like this 18 here, who's trying to send it around the outside, or the 81, excuse me. Trying to send it around the outside. Has to back out. He can't get the move to stick, but he wants to use every inch of that racetrack, ride the wall like he's Kyle Larson here.
Trying to get around at least one of these 4 cars. See, they're side by side. How convenient. Larry Reed Sanders. Can't get by either of them yet. A couple drivers in the outside wall. 3 wide, Allen and McPeak. Already elbows out racing here at Kansas. Another 3 wide battle. Sanders is loose.
81, big send. He might be going for the 35 too. He's not quite close enough to make that happen, but he will take it with 5. 4 cars still looking on the top side, but he can't get there. And it's the 81 Autry. Still looking on the inside, but he's lost that ground to the 5 car. Wisnowski with a good run out of the corner, and that's going to set him ahead for now. As now Autry's falling back to the 6 of Quentin Stewart.
Quentin put him in a bad spot. He's going to take that spot from him. Autry's going to fall back to the 14th, 15th position here. Right on board with the CEO himself. On a 13th right now.
Got that on-board shot. He's in the fence there as he tries to chase down Wisnowski and Sanders up in front of him. A lot of close racing further back, a lot of close racing up front. Just like I say, that we're 3 wide. 06 of Philbrick on the bottom, gets up the track a little bit, but he keeps it going and makes a nice double overtake to get himself already up to 3rd. He's gone 18 to the podium in 11 laps.
The only concern I would have if I was Ryan Philbrick is, are you abusing the tires? This racetrack, it's not the easiest track on tires, and if you don't treat them right, you'll find out here in about 10 laps or so. Hopefully, the 06 is able to keep the tires under him and maintain this podium position. Quentin Stewart falling back. I think he had an issue off of turn number 4 down the front stretch. He is well below the apron. Back to 17.
Yeah, Philbrick's definitely fusing those tires up. We gotta wonder if he is gonna have any left, because he's already starting to fall back to that 83 car, Stephen Legault back there. So push straight through the field, but he's not clear of the 83. Still gotta make a fight, and he's still got about a second to go if he was trying to catch those 2 cars up front. Top 2 in the championship.
See if we hear a big lift into the corner or not. Not as much as you'd think. I think he's only part throttle here. Not quite fully out of the gas. Definitely not saving a lot of tires. He rips the bottom of the racetrack. And then this 100-degree track, grip is going to be at a premium. Tires are going to be at a premium. This is an interesting decision early in this race. Track position, important, absolutely, but so is long-run pace, especially here in QSR where you don't see a lot of cautions.
Yeah, maybe just trying to get up front. He almost got caught up in that first accident. Maybe just a decision of, well, if they're going to wreck at the back, I want to be well ahead of that. And he is well ahead of that now because he's up into 3rd. But as you say, probably at the expense of some of that tire life later in the run.
Time will tell, absolutely. 7/10 back of Jesse Gordon, who is right on the back bumper of Daniel Molnix. These two have raced hard all season long, including a couple incidents, including one at Auto Club. The end of that race sent one driver spinning down the inside. They have each won a race this year, at least one race, and find themselves 1 and 2 in the point standings heading into tonight. doing nothing to hurt their efforts so far here at Kansas.
Yeah, Gordon's been kind of riding behind Molnick's now for this entire green flag run. Gordon's been trying a little bit of a higher line in 3 and 4. You saw it last time around. He's looking for clean air where Molnick's goes all the way to the bottom on the white line. Gordon last time around went about a lane higher trying to get the top. He's trying to find that clean air, but now he'll stick right back to the bottom this time on lap 16, staying right in his tire tracks, trying to keep that gap close.
Something interesting Jesse Gordon just did. Did it again right there. You heard him pop the clutch. Turn the engine off. No fuel burned when the clutch is pushed in. That's going to help the fuel mileage. Let's see, is Daniel Molnick doing the same thing? He is not. Simply rolling out of the gas is your leader. So that might pay dividends later in the race for the 10. Able to save a little bit more fuel in the draft of Daniel Molnick. Can he stretch it to maybe make this a one-stopper or just a two-stopper?
Yeah, he's kind of running it like he's in the Indy 500 there, trying to save that gas for the longer run. Bilbrick's kind of stalled out behind him in 30s, stopped at about 8/10 back. He's still under threat from the go. So while they kind of stick there in 3rd and 4th, Molnick and Gordon have been running steady, saving fuel, not pushing those tires too hard, and that's let them hold those top 2 positions. We got a slow car down here on the apron.
That's Brandon Yates caught up in that first accident. He got the worst of it. That Carter Lynn's incident, I think he's got some pretty heavy motor damage. That 15 is just simply trying to log laps and doing a pretty good job of staying out of the way of all these drivers. Use the apron in 3 and 4. Tough break so far for Brandon Yates.
Yeah, it always gets pretty sketchy when you got a car slow and you're trying to, all the pack's trying to get around you and you're just trying to hold it as low as you can and you're like, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. Looks like he's got through the field good there, but he's already 1 lap down and he can't really hold pace, so he's just going to go a little more as he tries to salvage whatever.
Good battle here. 6th position, Foskey and Pena. Right on the door is the 55.
The inside, they're very even off into the corner. 29 is able to get that bigger send down in there. Can the 55 use the run out? Not really. It's a really good run out from the 29 car at Jason Foskey, and he'll hold that spot for now. And he's going to have to drop in behind.
We've seen the 55 be lightning fast on the short runs. Long runs have been a bit of a nemesis for this driver all season long. That might be coming to fruition here as we are about 21 laps on these tires. Most drivers have not changed tires since the start of the race. Might be starting to hurt some of these guys if they didn't do a good job of saving them early in the race. As Payne just about caught the wall off of 4. Now is when you start to see who can save your stuff.
Yeah, he's rapidly falling back to the 21 of Shane Ferguson. That car started this race in 3rd, has dropped back to 8th. With how rapidly he's starting to catch up to 55 and Tristan Pena, you gotta wonder, is he saving those tires to make a better run later on in this stick? He's dropped a lot of spots early. He's gonna see if he can get them back.
And definitely the best start of the year for Shane Ferguson, qualifying up in the top 3. Great effort for the 21, who continues to get a little bit faster every week, a little bit better races put together by the driver of the 21. So glad to see it. Love seeing people improve on their racecraft throughout the season. And I'm sure he'll be looking for potentially some top 5s and 10s here next season in the QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking for those right now. Like I said, started this race on the podium in the top 10 right now. It's a good run for him, and if he can catch the struggling 55 car, who has already dropped 8/10 off of Jason Foskey, he might be able to do it. As we have a battle for 2nd now. Jesse Gordon, Ryan Philbrick, and Stephen McGough are all going at it.
Don't forget Ronnie Joyner. He's right there as well. In fact, he's going to cross over the 83 down into turn 3. Will he be able to clear and grab that spot? Yes, he will.
Yeah, gonna come up in front of him.
Oh,
into the fence hard.
Oh, he got it. Oh, he got it quick time. Caution. stays in the holster, but that is going to destroy the front end of the 24.
Yeah, that's massive damage. That's something that's going to take at least a pit stop to beat out of that car there. Huge hit. And it slows up not just him, but a couple other cars who are up there as well. Cars free falling through the field after that accident.
Yeah, Pena got a piece of it. Obviously, Joyner. They fall back into the clutches of Ferguson, Mago, and Eddie. Yeah, not a great situation right now for the 24. Obviously, it's drivable. I don't think there's motor damage, but might have hurt that right front suspension when he caught the part of the safer barrier that sticks out on the front stretch.
Yeah, it looks like the only person who's really happy about that's going to be Ryan Philbrick, because he got the spot. He's the only car that didn't lose any time in that, and now he's put a move on Jesse Gordon to move himself up into the top 2.
Chasing down Daniel Molnitz, which has proven to be a difficult task for drivers all season long. Once that 2 gets the lead, he rarely gives it up, including a, if I'm not mistaken, wire-to-wire race he led at Charlotte earlier in the season.
Yeah, he's done a good job of managing this so far. He's up in second right now. Good run for him.
Look back at Joyner, settled in here in the 6th spot. It stops not too far away. So we're 3 wide behind him. Still 3 wide.
That 5 cars all the way down there. Oh, bit of contact up on the top of him between the 61 and the 4. McPeak and Eddie getting into it, but they both managed to make it out. McPeak and other cars driving to the field here. Started 19th, up to 11th. So is the 5 of Wisnowski, who started 20th and is up to 10th. 2 of the biggest movers in the field right now in the battle.
And they've stayed lockstep this entire time, both up 10 spots, meaning they have not left each other for these opening 29 laps. Been a fun one so far at Kansas. Closing in on pit stops.
Very familiar with each other's cars there. And he's going to have to look at the cars in front of him now. McPeak is looking on the 21 of Ferguson. He's looking on the 83 of Mago. Those cars who were caught up in that accident, that little big wall hit that made them all lose a bunch of time, they're now threatening those cars. And the 5 is in the fence up there. More contact is going to send them 3 wide.
Yeah, ill-advised move to the high line, and there was not space outside the 21. He tried to force it, and for his efforts, he found himself plastered to that outside wall, and it just about took out all 3 of them. Will the 5 be able to find a way around? Not going top to bottom here. He might drive by the 61 anyway into turn number 3.
21 looking again to the top. I said he can run so many different lines here, and that's what we're seeing. 21 seems to prefer that top side, working the high line on this racetrack, trying to get a run, while some of these other cars further back are running it all the way down to the grass, like Ethan Wisnowski, trying to make something happen on the apron on the front straightaway. So a lot of different ways you can run this track, and we're seeing that here. Wisnowski and other cars running that top in 1 and 2.
So as a driver, Sky, where was your favorite line to run on this Kansas Speedway?
I mean, I was just racing here a couple weeks ago. I think the top is probably my favorite line to run. You can get a really good run out of the corner there. It's good on the long runs because you can make up a lot of speed there flying down the straightaways. And we're 3 wide into 1 and 2.
Single file out, McPeak's gonna lift. That's a wise decision, I would say, as all 3 of these drivers trying to get around that wounded 24. Ronnie Joyner. 21 to the outside wall just a little bit down the backstretch.
And that's going to allow McPeak behind him to make a big send up the inside. Those cars are all the way up on the fence, just inches between the 21 and the wall on the entry of 3. McPeak makes the big dive to the inside, and he seems to do a pretty good job getting the run out of the corner because he's put himself up into 9th for now. Wisnowski's also going to move further down, trying to run about a lane up as he pursues the 24 of Ronnie Joyner.
He's going to get alongside, but the momentum will be with the 24. What happens here into turn number 3?
Side by side, 2 rows back, and Wisnowski is going to get it. If he can slide up in front, he will. McPeak tried something to the outside there, but he's going to hit the wall and not just lose out to Ferguson, but to Brent Allen as well.
Yeah, just a little kiss of the wall there. Fortunately, not going to hurt him too bad. Just a little track position lost. As Joyner has fallen back from, he was up in the top 5 down to 8th. And there's a swarm of trucks right behind him.
Big pack of cars there, and then it's honestly a pretty big gap up in front of him because you've got Pena up the road, or you got Wisnowski, McGowan, Pena all up the road there, and then Foskey is 2.5 clear. We're going 3 wide again down the front straightaway. We're going 4 wide down the front straightaway. Big move on the apron there for the 21 car of Ferguson. Allen will fight back on the outside, and the only real loser in that seems to be Ronnie Joyner, who's been shuffled all the way back into the clutches of Larry Eddy for 11th.
Not missing anything at the front of the field. Mullings continues to lead. Philbrick and Gordon have not separated themselves either. They ride about 6/10 back of your leader. Foskey, with all the confusion, finds himself up in 4th. Pena is 5th, and he's leading a very hungry group of drivers. Mago and Wisnowski, and then behind them, the group we were just watching. McPeak, Allen, Ferguson, and friends here at the back of the top 10. So many storylines already, only 36 laps in here at Kansas. Let's ride on board, both in the car and in real life, here with Brent Allen. Little looking back at the driver cam here. You can see just how much he wheels it. You can watch his arms as he tries to hang on to this thing. He's a little bit free right on that seam. A lot of wheel movement here for driver 13.
Yeah, and he's in a battle right now with that 21 of Shane Ferguson, who's down on his inside. So he's really got to wheel it off those corners and try to get the best possible run he can down the straightaways to make that pass happen, and he will right now as we get a car into the pits.
First driver to take their shot for the pit strategy, Stephen Mago, was running, I think, around the 10th spot before he peeled off to the pit lane. He will now be 15th, last driver on the lead lap.
Yeah, he was one of those cars that got caught up in that incident there a couple laps ago and dropped all the way from about 3rd or 4th back to the rear end of the top 10. So maybe trying to get something going here and hoping that damage isn't too bad for him. Sport car Eddie now looking on those cars up in front of him as we're watching the 55 car, Tristan Pena, on the outside of Patrick McPeak, who's done a really good drive up through the field. He's up to 7th right now, again, after starting at the back. One of those drivers needs to have a really good day in the points, and he's doing that so far with a drive up to 7th.
We should be seeing everyone hit pit road here in just a matter of laps. I think Joyner decided to pull off. Yes, he did. First of what I would say the leaders to hit pit road, obviously with the damage not helping driver 24 right now.
Yeah, a lot of those cars coming in are kind of at the back end of the top 10, sort of. Leaders still staying out, but Philbrick and Gordon are really closing that gap to Molnix, and Molnix is going to bring it down this time.
That's the first of the top 5 to hit pit road. I think everyone's got to be on pit road right away. Or you're going to lose touch with the driver of the 2. You might never get it back.
Yeah, it's going to be a game of follow the leader now. I think now that he's come down, I think we're going to see at least one of these cars here from what is now 1st to 3rd bring it down. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of cars even further back follow him in as well. 06 is slowing up. Let's see if he pulls a move off here. He will. It's going to be Ryan Philbrick into the pits, followed by Foskey and Wisnowski. Gordon, only one staying out.
I think Wisnowski just hit the wall off the corner. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. The 10 had a great entry. The 06 let him go around. I'm surprised at that pit entry there. I mean, that's about 2 seconds lost by driver of the 06, Ryan Philbrick.
He went so far past him, I thought he stayed out.
Right, me too. Yeah, that was an interesting entry to pit road. Certainly, what happens here for these drivers, McPeak is going to bring it to pit road. Wisnowski going to stay out one more time. Stretch this thing all the way as far as it can go.
Yeah, he's one of two staying out. It's just him and Galen Wunsch in the 199 still out on the racetrack. Every other car has pulled it onto pit road, all within the span of about 4 laps there.
And Wunsch, obviously, that driver sliding through the grass to open this race. No caution came out. He lost all that track position. Trying to catch a caution. Stay out here as long as he can. And an interesting pit entry, I would say. You usually don't pit from the top of the racetrack, but is what it is. Wisnowski stays out on the racetrack one more time.
Still riding that wall. I think it's pretty good for long run pace, and that's what he's trying to do with it, because he's out here at least about 2 or 3 laps longer than pretty much every other car.
I want to just ride on board here with Daniel Molnix as he watches his teammate peel off in front of him. Yeah, that was close.
That was a close call. He's the race leader, too, or he should be once it cycles around. So, very, very scary moment for him.
Absolutely. And one driver left on the racetrack. Wisnowski has yet to hit pit road. He has the entire field trapped a lap down. The driver right behind him is second, Daniel Molnix. Wisnowski currently 1.6 off the pace of what his fast lap was. Bring it to pit road this time.
Yeah, I was going to see if he stayed out. We were going to just see how fast that 2 and the 10 flew around him, but they were able to get around him because he's pitting, and now they just have themselves to battle with. The 06 of Philbrick, like you said, with that bad pit entry, has cost himself about 3 seconds to this fight for the lead. That's right back between the 2 and the 10.
The big winner on that pit cycle was definitely Jesse Gordon. Remember, he was about a second behind Daniel Molnix, currently right up on the back bumper. Clearly found some speed on the pit entry. We both marveled at it, and I think Molnix was just taking it easy, just trying not to make a mistake. Might have to turn the wick up a little bit to defend this battle now for the lead.
That big pit stop really helped him. He entered the pit road almost perfectly. That's how he got that 3-second gap opened up over Philbrick, and it's how he closed the second he needed to Molnix so he can bring the fight to him, running right along the top in 3 and 4.
Could have good momentum here off the corner. Can he do anything with it? Big dive down to the inside. He will not lead the lap, but he might get the positioning into turn 1. Caught the apron, slid up the racetrack, will not clear. Molnix charges back on the high line.
Great run into the corner, but he couldn't quite keep it stuck down there. Ends up bouncing off the apron, losing a lot of time, and now he's got to re-rack it. He's got to try it all over again. Try to get the spot on Molnix, and I don't think Molnix is going to let him pull the same move twice.
No, I wouldn't think so. Molnix, one of those crafty veterans. He learns every time you make a move. Saw what happened there. Off of turn number 4 with the big momentum. Probably will not let that happen twice.
No, so Gordon's going to have to find another way around him. That send down the front straightaway, maybe off limits for him. He's going to have to get crafty, figure out a new way to do it. He'll look back to the top in 3 and 4. We'll see if he can get the run through here. He will, coming out of the corner, and he will get it sent back to the inside again. So here we go, repeat of 2 laps to go. It's Jesse Gordon leading the lap, and he'll clear Molnix before they even make it into turn 1.
Yeah, no issue there, getting around the 2 that time. Jesse Gordon able to easily clear into turn number 1. Now can the 10 drive away, or has Molnix been saving his stuff over these first 8 laps of the run?
That's what we'll find out. He's keeping the gap a little close for now, but drops back to about 0.2 of a second. Philbrick still falling even further back, 3.5 seconds back. These 2 cars are the ones that are really going at it up front. Seen some good battles further back. This is Ronnie Joyner and Brent Allen going at it for 7th side by side. 10 seconds back of the leader. Pretty close to those cars behind him who might try to lose it.
So Joyner was the second car on pit road. Mago was the first one. He's up to 4th. But Joyner able to rebound a little bit, got a little bit of damage fixed, got 4 tires on it. Able to bring the fight to Brent Allen for 7th.
both of them running the very top line here on this log run. The 13 kind of moving a little further down, bit of a diamond off the corner. They're both running really high. 13's going to go all the way down to the grass on the front straightaway. Two of just the many very different lines you can run here. And we're side by side for 5th with Pena and Foskey.
Mago is right in front of him as well. This is a battle for the 4th spot. Goes across 3 different drivers. Who's going to be able to take this one away? Mago has slowly been backing up to these two on those older tires, about 4 laps older than the 55 and the 29. Will either of them be able to find a way around the 83?
Yeah, Mago and Foskey running very different lines to those guys behind them. Both cars right on the white line on the inside the whole way around the racetrack. Very different look compared to what we were seeing out of Ronnie Joyner and Brent Allen up there. Some very different philosophies, like I said, on how you can run this racetrack between these battles.
I've always been partial to the high line here. I think there's just a way you can run it where you catch your left front on that seam that we all know and sometimes hate here in Kansas, and it kind of pulls the truck around the corner, able to work the right rear instead of the right front, and kind of keeps things moving the way that you want it to move as a race car driver. A lot of drivers have been doing that here tonight, but some have been very content to run right around that white line and paint it. And if you do it right, it's almost unbeatable. Shortest way around with good runs off the corner. There are so many ways you can drive this Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, I kind of like to do what Gordon was doing earlier, where you run the top in 3 and 4, get the speed, and then on that longer front straightaway where it's got that bend onto the apron, you just send it all the way down there. Try to make whatever you can on the front straightaway using what you gain in 3 and 4.
Good battle here for 12. We've got Ferguson and Wisnowski going at it right behind Quentin Stewart, the CEO, who has rebounded quite nicely from being caught up in that first caution on the opening lap. Going to get passed here by his fellow admin. And Jane Ferguson not too far behind, although he will close the door for 12.
Yeah, Wisnowski, we saw him run that overcut. He's got tires that are about 5 laps fresher now after running the longer on the first stint. It set him back to 11th, but you saw how quickly he worked around Quentin Stewart and Shane Ferguson. He might be able to start reeling these cars back in front of him, especially the 24 of Ronnie Joyner, who's been moving in the opposite direction. He's already back to 10.
There is exactly one driver who is running below the 32-second bracket. It's the one we're riding on board with, Ethan Wisnowski, fastest driver on the racetrack, and it is not particularly close. He is tenths faster than the rest of the field. How about 6 of them over the leader that last time by? If the tires hold on for another, say, 5 laps, he will be significantly higher up than what he was. He might even get his way into the top 5.
Yeah, already blowing around Ronnie Joyner there. I mean, such a difference in speed. You wouldn't think they only came into the pits about 6 laps apart. Wisnowski is on it right now. He's setting his sights on Larry Eddy, and he is rapidly driving through the field. Already got that gap to Eddy down to about 7 tenths.
This is the part of the run where you're going to feel like Superman, with the fresh tires driving by people like they're standing still. This will come back to bite you, though, a little bit later. Remember, he was the last driver to pit. But at the end of this run, when everyone else gets fresh tires and he stays out the extra 5 or so laps, he's going to give it all back. So he's got to be smart here with what he does strategy-wise. So we just passed the halfway point in this event. The one caution so far, 4 lead changes at the start-finish line, many more throughout the racetrack. Been a good one so far here in Kansas.
Wisnowski is right up the inside of Eddy. He's gaining time on the leaders, like you said. Fastest car on the racetrack. Now it's going to be set on Reed Sanders up there for 8th in the 17.
And this is about the time in the run when the other drivers' tires will start to wear. You'll start to know if you pushed it too hard. It's still probably about 5 laps for Wisnowski to feel that effect of the tire wear. But the drivers around him are certainly starting to feel it as his lap time starting to fall off a cliff here.
Yeah, Wisnowski's got that benefit of the 5 less laps on this set of tires. Wonder when that's going to even out, or will it even out? Is it going to be like a plateau moment where Wisnowski kind of falls off and starts running at the same pace as everybody else, or is he going to save these tires well enough to make this work longer into the run? We can keep making the immense amount of time that he is right now and get past not just Sanders, maybe Allen in front of him.
I also like how he's changing up his line. He runs the high line in 3 and 4, runs kind of a middle groove on the seam in 1 and 2, able to kind of change the way the tires wear throughout the different corners. That's definitely helping him preserve that tire life. He needs to get right up to the back bumper of Reed Sanders. The battle for 8th, probably not going to be much of a battle. Off of turn 4, the 4 will leave him a lane, and around goes the 5.
Yeah, that car is quick, and now it's an 8th. The gap's down about a second from the leader from when we started talking about him, and now Go and Allen might start going at it soon up there. They're pretty close for 6 and 7. That'll be even better for Wisnowski.
Yeah, the 83 riding here in 6th. The car behind him, the 13, suffering from the dirty air. They're within a second of each other, and Wisnowski is only 1.6 back of them. You see that red, white, and blue. Number 5 rolling through the field right now. Oh, loose for Brent Allen. Golly, you see that?
Yeah. I mean, Wisnowski has the dirty air, so does Brent Allen. Probably affecting Brent Allen more than it is Wisnowski because he is rapidly closing while Brent Allen, I mean, he's a little faster than Mago. He's really loose. He's got that thing going to the right in a left-handed corner. But he's still making a little bit of time, not as much as the 5 is.
What I like about that is I think most drivers are fighting tight today. So if you're fighting loose, that's a great sign. I mean, you can still rotate the corners. Might have to change the lineup a little bit to be able to take advantage of that. Like if you start running the bottom, the balance will start to work itself back to neutral. And then you're able to really start making hay here. See if Brent Allen's able to make the adjustment or if he continues to run that high line.
Yeah, the high line can definitely get you a bit loose.
Mago caught the wall.
Ooh, yeah, he's slow out of the corner. That's going to allow Allen a big run into 3 and 4 as they'll take it on the top. They'll stay side by side. Can Allen get the run out of here? He's really loose again. That car fully sideways. It's going to hurt his run. And Allen will jump to the inside and keep them side by side into 1 and 2.
Don't look now, but that prime machine is in the frame. Only 7/10 back is Ethan Wisnowski. And he is moving in a hurry.
Yeah, that gap's under 12 seconds to the leader now. That car is fast.
That time by, he was not quite as quick as Stephen Mago. Apologies.
Oh, yeah, very loose off the corner.
Yeah.
On the apron, I don't even know if he wanted to be or not.
Goodness gracious. We're starting to see this tires even out. Wisnowski last time, 32.7. Your leader, 32.9. So we're starting to have that gap close. It took about 20 laps. But Wisnowski's still much faster than the drivers around him. See if he's able to make hay and get 2 more spots up to 6th. And then settle out for the rest of this run.
Yeah, definitely hitting that plateau. To go loose again off the corner. Some of these cars with these big slides down at a 4, it's going to really hurt his run, just like it did in the battle with Allen. And Wisnowski's going to get around him on the top, moving himself up into 7th. Can he catch Allen, or is he starting to pull away?
We got a good battle up here as well. Foskey and Pena. Remember, this was a battle earlier when they were trying to race Mago, who was falling back to 8th. These two still side by side.
Yeah, Pena's going to get clear from 4th on Foskey down into 1 and 2. Are these drivers still running the low line in 1 and 2? Let's see. Pena's running a bit further up, but Foskey is still committed to running right on the bottom around 1 and 2.
Clearly working for them. They are up in the top 5. Good one back here for 12th. McPeak and Ferguson. Still trying to sort out who's going to run in 11th, who's going to run 12th.
Yeah, battles all throughout the field. We saw McPeak stay out a little later. just like Wisnowski did, but he only stayed out about a lap later than most of the other cars, and that doesn't give him quite the same benefit. He's been stuck back here in 12th, and he hasn't been able to make too much of a round through the field. Still struggling with Ferguson for 11th.
Closing in on our second and what should be final green flag stop of the day if we were to stay green. Check back in with Ethan Wisnowski. Kind of settling out here in 7th. The lap times have evened up across the top 10. I think that progression has halted, but a massive net positive for driver 5.
Yeah, he's running a lot more even to Allen. He was only about half a tenth quicker last time, so he's not gaining quite as much as he was. Still a little bit faster, though, as the battle for 4th keeps going. Foskey's gotten around Pena again. Pena's right on the bumper to let him go, exiting 4.
Not missing anything up front. Jesse Gordon is driven away by 1.4 seconds over Daniel Molnix. And it's 3.1 back to Ryan Philbrick, another 4.8 back to Jason Foskey. And then Pena, as we see, is right on the screen here, trying to chase down that 29. So the gap between 1st and 5th is just about 10 seconds.
Wisnowski's starting to put it back together now. A bad lap from Brent Allen to put it right there. 3/10 quicker than that 13 car last time around, and he's running all the way around the top in 3 and 4. That 13 car is loose. You can see he just doesn't have the speed through the corner.
So is
and
the
that's
5.
letting the 5 get that ground.
Philbrick on pit road
in the pits.
This is a strategy call, absolutely. He's going to be the first one to probably make it to the end on fuel. We'll bring up your race analysis. Remember, about 47 on the max side on fuel. We are inside that window.
Yeah, he'll be plenty good, but kind of trying the opposite of what Wisnowski did. Bit of an undercut. Get more ground early in the run, and then maybe concede some time later on if he can't save those tires. Ronnie Joyner also in the 24.
Yeah, same idea for driver 24. Ferguson and McPeak still can't sort out who's going to take that spot. This time, they battle for 10th. There's a few drivers that pit in front of them. For now, still undecided. I thought Ferguson had him there.
He's loose off the corner, and that will let Ferguson get it. McPeak drops behind him and gets down to the bottom in 3 and 4. Maybe trying to pit stop there. Yes, he will. McPeak is now the next car in the pits, along with the 13 of Brent Allen.
And Wisnowski
And the 5.
also, yeah. Interesting. He's going to do the opposite of what he did last time. He's already such a net positive that it's well worth it to do this undercut strategy for him.
Yeah, it seemed to work last time. Doesn't really want to go for it again, though. He'll come down quickly. Maybe thought the tires burned off a little too much at the end of his run. He wants a bit of a shorter, or a bit of a longer tire life. Not sure there.
Your leader still stays out. Can go another 10 laps on fuel here. Curious to see how far he tries to stretch it. As Mago is on pit road as well. It's like your top 8 have stayed out so far. From your leader, Jesse Gordon, back to 8th place, Quentin Stewart, still on the racetrack.
And it's a huge gap from Gordon back to even the 29 of Foskey, who's now running 3rd in this pit cycle. 10 seconds between 1st and 3rd. 1.7 between Molnix and Gordon. Molnix is going to need to have a good pit stop here to try to close that gap. Maybe he can play some strategy to get himself back up there.
Yeah, definitely some large gaps throughout this field. That's what happens when you run the last 73 laps green flag with a pit stop. Things happen. People have inefficient pit entries or great pit entries and exits and all of that. Incidents happen on track, like the 24 hitting the wall earlier. But you see just how much new tires mean as Philbrick drives all the way around the 29 like he's standing still.
Yeah, he's not just faster on exit, he's faster on entry, he's faster in the middle, he's flying around him everywhere. Philbrick's kind of running that bottom line to try to make the most time and get the most out of this undercut right now. As some cars were still out on the track, like Pena behind Foskey, were on the top.
Larietti also on pit road, leaves 7 drivers to not hit the pit lane. Strategy's about to get good here as we close in on 30 laps remaining.
Yeah, Philbrick is going to really come out of this, maybe even in the lead, because he's got such a big undercut. He's had so many laps of fresh tires to come up and catch these cars. He's running over a second a lap faster than Jesse Gordon right now. So I'd anticipate that once this cycle's around, the lead is going to go to Ryan Philbrick. The question is going to become, can he hold the lead, or will Gordon, on those fresher tires, catch him back up?
Yeah, all great questions. Definitely things to consider here. You got to remember, too, the lead was pretty big. Back to Philbrick, it was a number of seconds. I think about 6 seconds or so. Meaning, even if they were to pit right now, it would only about even out. So the tire wear really going to depend how much farther the 10 decides to push it. But I don't think he's too worried about Ryan Philbrick at the moment. Neither is Daniel Molnex as they continue to race each other. Only 30 to go here, Kansas.
Yeah, Gordon 0.17 last time around. Molnex with a 0.115, both of those 33 seconds. And then Ryan Philbrick ran a 31.848. So almost a second and a half quicker. He's got that thing working well, but I mean, it's been about 8 laps now since he's pitted. That's 8 laps. Gordon is going to have fresher tires for the end of this race.
And we've seen those fresher tires pay massive dividends. Already, Philbrick has fallen about 0.8 off of his fastest lap of the race. Yeah, interesting times. He is still the first car 1 lap down as well, so he's not out of the woods quite yet. A caution would kind of kill this strategy for him, as well as the back half of the top 10 and everyone else in the race who's already hit pit road. Philbrick, Allen, Wisnowski, Mago, McPeak, Eddy, and Wunsch all on that strategy. Quinn Stewart still hanging on.
Reed Sanders into the pit making 6 cars still out. Quentin Stewart is the last of those 6 cars. This is really interesting here. 28 to go. Yep, there goes Pena as well. That's the next car down. 28 to go. You're going to hit a point where you're not going to have as much time to catch these cars up. And I wonder if Gordon is just going to go until he thinks he can push the tires for the rest of the stint and then come down then. I'm not sure. It's going to be really interesting because he will come out with 10 laps worse, or 10 laps better tires at least.
We are also within that window. We're only a couple laps away from the middle of the pit window. I think the 10's coming in this time. He is not. He's only got about 4 more laps he can stay on the racetrack. Stewart has pit. Everybody but Gordon, Molnex, and Ferguson have hit pit road in this cycle. Foskey, the latest to join the pit lane.
Philbrick's lap time already starting to fall off. He was running kind of mid to high 31s. These last 2 times around have been a 32.123 and a 32.120. He's already losing a lot of time for Jesse Gordon, who has kind of been stabilized at a 33.1 for about the last 15 laps now.
I'm very intrigued to see how this all cycles out. You can see he's caught up to the back of Molnex, so that is second on the racetrack, not necessarily in timing and scoring. Where will these drivers cycle out? How big will Philbrick's lead be? And will there be enough time for the 10 and the 2 to catch up to the 06 in the final 20-odd laps of this race? Oh, Molnex in the outside wall.
Yeah, he's struggling with that car a lot. That thing is loose. You see it right there, wiggling even more down the straightaway. Ferguson, or Philbrick, already getting ahead of him. Philbrick is losing the time. He's losing ground, I guess. He was 1.3 faster to Gordon. Now it's down to only 9/10. So as Philbrick keeps going, Jesse Gordon is actually getting a little better here. He's going to have 15 lap pressure tires. And I imagine if he's running the same lap times after he comes down as Philbrick was, he's going to be 0.8 of a second faster already.
And this is going to be a very intriguing battle to the finish. We saw the 10 catch the wall a little bit off of the exit of turn number 4. Philbrick is now in the frame. So is the 6 of Quentin Stewart. That is the difference. Stewart and Philbrick about 11 laps on tires. There goes Jesse Gordon, your leader to pit road. I believe Mullenix will be right behind him.
Oh, very loose.
He might have sped. Mullenix already in the box.
Close. Mullenix has come down. Yeah, Gordon was really loose into that box. All over the place. Had a couple big slides, big lockups trying to get it in. Only saving grace there is he's saving the tires anyway, so it doesn't really matter if he burns them.
Let's see. Where will Philbrick cycle out? How far ahead will he be? Back on the lead lap, so is most of the field, all the way back to Quentin Stewart, who just now will get his lap back once they pass Jesse Gordon. All right, so Gordon still just now leaving pit road.
Ooh.
Where is Mullenix? He's back on the racetrack.
I think Philbrick's pushed it a bit too hard. That car is falling off quickly, already down into the 32.6 bracket. The pace that that car was setting about 10 laps ago, or about 15 laps ago now, he's a whole second off it. That car is rapidly slowing down, and that's only good news for Mullenix and Gordon.
The bad news for Gordon and Mullenix, Gordon 9.2, and the gap is growing back from first to third. Daniel Mullenix is another 2 seconds back, make that 10.5 now. So they have to make hay very quickly with only about 20 laps to go. Brent Allen also in the middle. He can make it bend on fuel. They're gonna have to dispatch this 13 fairly quickly, although I don't think he'll put up a terribly big fight on those 15-lap older tires. This is about to get good, folks. Get your popcorn, get your drinks. We're about to see a show.
Fastest lap of the race was Daniel Mullenix last time around, 31.228. And now it's going to be actually beaten right now by Jesse Gordon with a 31.219. Ryan Philbrick last time around, 32.67. 1.4 faster for Jesse Gordon as he's 7 seconds back.
And Gordon's going to easily catch and pass the 13. The gap is now down to 6.3. It might be too little too late for Ryan Philbrick, but he had to try something. Started 18th. Clearly the biggest mover in the race, up to the lead. But is it going to be enough? Will he have enough tire? Will he have enough? The laps wind down quickly enough for him to go grab his second win of the year? Or will Jesse Gordon get win number 3? Look at the point standings on the screen. Mullenix, Gordon, Joyner, and Philbrick all fighting for that top 4 spot in points, trying to go get number 1. Joyner obviously having issues today. He finds himself out of the race in 15th. So he will probably have to fight quite hard next week in Las Vegas if he's going to march his way back into this title fight.
It looks like it's going to be Gordon. That gap that was down at almost 10 seconds when he came out of the pit lane, 3.5. That car is flying. Philbrick used up those tires on that undercut. He's got almost nothing left. Gordon is able to consistently, lap after lap, go a second and a half faster than Philbrick. I started talking about him and he had the gap down to 4 seconds. Now it's already under 3.
Yeah, we saw 3.5 at the start-finish line. Half a lap later, it's 2.8. That car in front of him, that is the leader. And this time by, it's going to be well over a second faster. 1.3 seconds is what he shaved off the gap that time. Unbelievable speed out of the 10 on new tires, and Mullenix still 2.2 back on this equal tires. Not going to be able to catch the 10 unless something outrageous happens here to end this race.
Yeah, Mullenix seems to be running pretty similar pace to Jesse Gordon right now. He'll definitely catch Philbrick, but he's going to have to turn the jets on, find another gear in that car to get to the 10 machine, because that thing is the fastest car on the racetrack by a large margin. And Mullenix is pretty similar, but he's not quite as quick right now.
Last time by, Mullenix about a 10th faster, but that's not going to get it done. Here with only 15 laps to go, you need to be at least 2-3 tenths quicker per lap. as Philbrick, I hate to say it'll be losing the lead here in a matter of moments, as here comes that black and bright green. Number 10 should shoot by here very quickly, maybe into turn number 1. 06 going to concede the spot relatively easily. New leader, Jesse Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, look at how quickly he flew past him there. Not even a concern. He's going by him like he's a lap car. 3/10 already, and he only passed him about 5 seconds ago. He's going to go right back to the middle in 3 and 4, slowly kind of angle it down to the bottom, and he'll come off the corner with a 7.5-tenth lead on Ryan Philbrick.
Unbelievable, the speed of new tires here. That gap, about 14 laps on tires, clearly making the difference between the 10 and the 06. Molnix, however, is not all that far behind Ryan Philbrick. But Philbrick looks like a pretty solid candidate for a top 3 here. Brent Allen is well back, about 6 seconds behind these drivers, and he has a little bit fresher tires than Philbrick, but only 2 laps. I don't think he'll be able to make up 7 seconds with only 2 lap fresher tires and only about 12 laps remaining.
Yeah, Philbrick's definitely going to look for a podium at this point because the cars behind him, Brent Allen came down only 2 laps after he did. Ethan Wisnowski only 3 laps before he did. So these cars are all on the same strategy as him, and they're not going to have that electric pace that Gordon had to close 9 seconds like that.
But this 5th through 8th, definitely not decided. They're all on your screen right there. Wisnowski, Mago, Pena, and Foskey will have been glued together all night long. Still unable to determine who's going to get those positions. Molnix has gotten around Philbrick for 2nd. 2.5 behind Jesse Gordon.
You really see all 3 lines being demonstrated there. Mago is on the top side in 3 and 4. Pena's in the middle. Foskey's on the bottom. Everyone trying something different to try to get the most out of their tires. Mago is on about 8 lap older tires than Pena and Foskey, so he's got fresher tires behind him, but so far he's been holding up pretty well and doing a good job of managing 6th place.
Off of turn 4, Mago's going to squeak away just a little bit from Pena. Foskey all over the back bumper. We saw these drivers side by side a couple laps ago. 11 more times around here at Kansas. Another race recap for you. 1 caution happened on the opening lap. 6 lead changes since then. Most laps led, I'd have to imagine. This man, Jesse Gordon, has led 45 of them. Molnix has led 41, and Philbrick has led 9.
Look at how far away Molnix has even gotten from Philbrick. It's about 2 seconds ago. We've got a car into the pit lane. That's Larry Eddy.
I think he might be parking it. Yes, he is going to park it.
He will. He's running about 11th at the time, so he'll only drop about 2 spots there to Shane Ferguson and Clinton Stewart.
The closest battle on the racetrack is definitely this one. These are the only drivers within a second of each other, and there are 4 of them. Keep our eyes locked here. The battle for 5th through 8th.
I'm really impressed at how Mago and Wisnowski have held up on those older tires. They're side by side now. Mago's trying to make the move on the 5 car. These 2 have done a really good job of managing their tires. Pena and Foskey have been stuck behind them. They've got a newer pitch strategy. Still can't get around, and with 8 to go, they're going to have to mount a charge to get something happening.
And about 8 lap fresher tires for the back 2 in this group as Foskey's in the outside wall versus Wisnowski and Mago. They all barrel off into turn number 1, all using a different groove. That's what I love about this Kansas racetrack. You can run all the lines, every part of the racetrack. They're all fast.
55 still looking on the inside. Now he's finally starting to get that run on the 83 car. 83 all the way to the wall. Pena a little lower down. And the 83 is going to have that run out of the corner. He got a little loose, but he's still going to be quicker. And he's going to get Pena down into turn 1. They'll stay side by side. big send-off to the 55 car, and that might get him clear.
I think Pena will clear off at 2. He absolutely will. And no place for the 83 to take that run to the bottom as Foskey is there, boxed him into the outside wall. Now Foskey's going to take a big drive down to the corner, get to the door, even with Pena, who did not have a great 3 and 4. Momentum coming back to the 55.
Yeah, the 29 tried to get a 2-for-1 there, and he couldn't quite do it. Now he's going to have another chance to get it into 1 and 2. Both cars send it in much deeper than the 83 of Mago. Payne is running Foskey really close there. Only about a car length off the bottom, and they door each other off the corner.
They door each other
side by side again. 55 holds on to it.
They both did. Unbelievable. A little bit of contact for Foskey in the outside wall. Pena as well. Oh my goodness. That was just about the caution nobody wanted to see. These two drivers are going to fall back to 6th and 7th. Apologies, 7th and 8th respectively. Wow, that was a moment for sure.
Yeah. They only lose about 1 spot, but they are going to be under a threat from Reed Sanders now, and I wonder if that incident might have hurt their tires, and that might help Reed Sanders with 4 to go get the half-second or so he needs to get up to Foskey.
Their tires are still a little bit fresher than Sanders as well, so that shouldn't be too bad as long as they don't get into each other again, which they've been running side by side all day. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, if I'm being totally honest with you. Let's do a quick recap back up front here. We got Jesse Gordon with 4 laps to go, coming to the 3. This time leading by about 3 seconds over Daniel Molnick's. Got Ryan Philbrick. Finds himself in 3rd, another 4 seconds behind the 2nd place driver. Brent Allen is 7.5 back from 3rd. Ethan Wisnowski, another 2.5 behind. That's 5th place. Stephen Mago, we just saw get around Pena and Foskey with their issue. He is 6th. Pena now in 7th. Foskey behind him in 8th. This battle is not over. Reed Sanders in 9th. Patrick McPeak rounds out your top 10 in the 61. Quentin Stewart, the last driver on the lead lap. Shane Ferguson, Larry Eddy, the only 2 other drivers running in this race right now.
And it's 2 to go for Gordon. He's pulling away with it. Molnick's, or this is not Molnick's map, that's Pena and Foskey right here. Going at it for 7th and 8th again. Whoa, big slide for Foskey. I don't know how he kept that thing straight there. Caught the apron. Somehow doesn't even lose that much time. He's still got the fight going.
Yeah, Foskey's a wheel man for sure. He showed it right there. But the final lap is underway. Jesse Gordon captures the white flag, puts Quentin Stewart 1 lap behind the pace. Molnick's 3 1/4 behind the 10. Who's going to lead the most laps? From the pole, Jesse Gordon is here to run for a championship. He's going to win in Kansas.
Yeah, that was a great result for him. Great strategy on that last pit stop to send it back around Ryan Philbrick. Worked out perfectly, and he holds the lead 3.5 over Daniel Molnick for 2nd.
Yeah, he earned every bit of that one. Great strategy, great drive. And Jesse Gordon going to be your winner here. Seen a lot of drivers win from the pole in this series this season. And all across V-Speed. Add another one to the list, Jesse Gordon. Watch him burn it down.
There he goes.
Then we'll have a race recap, interviews with your top 3, Gordon, Molnick, and Philbrick. As you've been watching QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series here on V-Speed. Fun one here in Kansas tonight. This was a presentation of QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. The door banging download 165. It's a fun one here tonight. We'll be back after a quick word from our sponsors. Be back here with your results and interviews with your top 3. Don't go anywhere.
Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Welcome back here on V-Speed, the conclusion of the door banging download 165. It was a good one here tonight. One caution happened on the opening lap. Went green for 107 after that, including 2 green flag pit stops, 6 lead changes to start finish line. Jesse Gordon from the pole led the most laps and won the race. Daniel Molnick's going to finish second where he started in the 2. And Ryan Philbrick, another playoff driver. All 3 of those guys having great runs and going to continue to extend their points lead over the rest of the field. Brent Allen comes home in 4th after a great strategy call. Ethan Wisnowski, same deal. 5th spot for the 5. Made the overcut work, then the undercut work to bring home that top 5, I believe his first of the season. Stephen McGough in 6th position. Did a great job in the 83. Pena and Foskey glued together. Pena got the better of him at the end. They just about took each other out with about 3 laps to go. Thrilling race for those 2 drivers. Reed Sanders in the 17 comes home in 9th today. And Patrick McPeak, the latest addition to the playoffs, he finishes in 10th.
Those are the only cars on the lead lap. 1 spot behind him in 11th is going to be Quentin Stewart in the 6th. 12th going to Shane Ferguson in the 21. Larry Eddy in the 4 finishes 13th. Galen Wunsch in the 199 finishes 14th, with Ronnie Joyner. Not a good run for a high-up playoff driver, finishes 15th. Carter Lynn's 16th, and all these cars are involved in those early accidents here. Brandon Yates 17th, CJ Gates 18th, Tyler Autry 19th, and Austin Thomas rounds out the field in 20th.
And of course, Mike Peach in your race control tonight didn't have much to do, but kept them organized regardless. He will come home on the grid technically 21st after not electing to turn a lap here this evening. That's how it went down, but we have caught up with your top 3. First off, 3rd place, Ryan Philbrick. Hey Ryan, it's Morgan and Sky up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you looked like you had a shot at it at the end there. You had the strategy to get you the lead. Was there anything different you could have done, hindsight 2020, to maybe snag the win instead of a 3rd place finish?
2 things. Probably qualify a little better. I hit the wall on my run up and I was going 2nd lap. So anytime you go 2nd lap, you take that risk. But that was, the hand I was dealt. And I could have waited a little longer, but they were checked out, and I figured if I did the same thing as them, that was how it would stay. You know what I mean? And I don't get on and off pit road the greatest. I try not to take chances and loop it or something. But I think I went a little bit early, but I still happy with the call. You know what I mean? Maybe if I waited, I didn't think they were going to go all the way. What did they wait till lap 20? I think I came in like 38 or something. If I would have went maybe 30, but I don't know. They caught me pretty quick. But it was worth a shot. I think that was my only play at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, still top 3 finish, nothing to be upset about. I mean, you're still in that points group. The top 4 had separated themselves from the rest of the playoff standings. I mean, you're still part of that group. Ronnie Joyner had issues today, obviously, so you'll get around him in the points. But all in all, pretty solid race. How would you grade this one if you had to give it a letter grade? This entire event here at Kansas.
I'll go a solid B probably. Yeah, B. Happy with it. It could have been worse, especially coming from the back, and there was that incident in the beginning. Almost got caught up in that. So, yeah, it definitely solid. I'm happy with it. Gonna be a wild last race. Is it Daytona or Talladega? I can't remember. Super Speedway, either way.
Yeah, Talladega in 2 weeks, got Vegas in between, so not terribly dissimilar from
Oh
this
yeah, I forgot
racetrack.
about that.
Yeah, definitely show up for Vegas next week, or else Talladega might
no,
not mean
yeah.
a whole
I'm
lot.
glad you reminded me.
Yeah, you
Right.
bet. You bet. But yeah,
Yeah.
Vegas next week should be a fun one, another mile and a half. Excuse me. But while we got you up here in the booth, Ryan, you didn't start fourth today, but anyone you want to thank or shout out while we got you up here?
My teammates, Brandon Yates, McPeak, Bad Company Race Team, V-Speed, you guys for putting it on. You guys do a great job. QSR, all the guys, the admins, everybody we race with. It's a great league to race in. That's about it.
Right on. Well, thank you for your time, Ryan. That's your third place finisher tonight, Ryan Philbrick. All right, Sky is standing by with Daniel Molnix.
Yeah, we don't quite have him up here in the booth yet. There he is. What's up, Daniel?
What up?
You finished second today. You just couldn't quite get up to Jesse Gordon there. Is there anything you could have done differently to make that move happen?
I really don't know. I mean, when I was out front, I was fine. Made that first pit stop, and it was after a few laps, front end just quit working. Yeah, I really don't know.
You came into this as the championship leader. You're going to come out still lockstep with Jesse Gordon. How does this affect your momentum going into the next two races?
I mean, the speed's still there. Just be consistent, really. I mean, we still got what two races left, and one of them's Talladega, so it doesn't really matter how big of a lead or deficit you have. You know, going into Talladega, it could all change. You know, on one straightaway. So
All right.
we'll see.
Do you have anyone you want to thank on the broadcast tonight?
Thank you guys for putting this on. The admin team with QSR and Better Motorsports.
All right. Congrats on P2, Daniel Molnix.
Thank you.
And Morgan is back up with our winner, Jesse Gordon.
Yes, I have made the sprint to V-Speed victory lane, caught up with Jesse Gordon. You got a copy, Jesse?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Well, I mean, this 10 was fast. Started on pole, obviously had that short run speed, but you showed the long run speed here today, going and taking the lead away from Daniel Molnix. You also showed that crew chiefing ability, running that tank out in that middle stint to shorten up the final run. Had the tire advantage over Philbrick and sailed around the 06 to capture your third victory of the season. Why don't you just sum this one up for me? What was it like out there to drive this 10?
Yeah, it was definitely a handful when the tires fell off. You had to really mind your P's and Q's and hit your marks, but it was all in all a lot of fun. And yeah, pit strategy really depended on the guys around where when I'd decide to pit and if I had the lead or if I was behind. So it was kind of all dependent on that. I didn't want to pit too early and too late, so other than that, it was a blast though, running with those guys.
Definitely. And looking at the championship standings, you came in here second in points behind Molnix. I think you're able to probably gain a point or two on him with the win and the laps led. Going into Las Vegas, the last what I would call driver racetrack of the championship hunt, is the last one is obviously Talladega. How important is it going to be next week to have a good week so you don't have to rely on Talladega?
Oh yeah, it's going to be really important. If I can, gain a couple of points or spots, that way it'll give me the advantage or a cushion somewhat with, the final race being a kind of a question mark, So all in all, definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, it was a blast though. Just had to I made some mistakes, getting into the wall and all that. It was tough getting behind somebody. You'd get really arrow tight sometimes and smack the wall and overdrive it. So, but definitely looking forward to Vegas, and hopefully we can keep up the streak right now.
For sure. And before we get to who you want to thank and shout out, I want to bring you back to a moment in this race. You were running third behind Philbrick, coming to pit road for the first time here tonight. Were you surprised at all with how much you were able to gain on the 06 coming to pit road? We kind of exclaimed up here like, oh, he's staying out, and then all of a sudden you just turned hard left. We're able to make pit road. Kind of what was that moment like for you? And was that when you were kind of like, okay, we got this?
Well, I knew I needed to somehow outbreak him getting in, and I saw him keep it low, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and just rip the track a little longer, keep it on the baking. Luckily, nobody was behind me, so I was able to do that. But it all depended on if there was a car behind or not. But I definitely was practicing my pit entries to try and gain an advantage, because that's where you can make up a lot of time. And if I got in front of Philbrick, I wouldn't be in his dirty air coming out with fresh tires. And that's how I was able to stick close to Molnick's.
Yeah, clearly worked out for you as you ended up winning the race. Obviously, anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to thank for the big win here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys, Morgan, and obviously everyone that's up there, and you guys putting on the stream. I love watching your guys' broadcast. My parents watch it too, and friends, and it's a good time. And then yeah, of course, Quentin and everybody that puts on QSR. Awesome racing with these guys, and my sponsors: Pink Cheeks Tanning Salon, Amzo, Cretus Tires, Davis Trenching, United Window Tint, and Empire Motorsports.
Right on. Well, that's your winner tonight, Jesse Gordon. Thank you for your time, Jesse.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Catch you next week in Las Vegas. All right, that is about going to wrap it up for our post-race show here. Been watching the QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series here at Kansas. The door bang and download 165 was an absolutely great race from start to finish. We saw three wide battling. We saw all sorts of pit strategy, and it came down to pit strategy to put Jesse Gordon and Daniel Molnick's back in the 1 and 2 positions. Let's chat about the schedule going forward. Las Vegas next week, and then 2 weeks' time, Talladega, where we crown the inaugural champion of the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Should be a fun one these next few weeks. Got to thank everybody at QSR: Quentin Stewart, Austin Dowdy, Carter Linz, Ethan Wisnowski, everyone else who makes this thing possible, the Venom Motorsports guys, Mike Petrin up there in race control, making sure this thing runs smoothly. Everyone did their job tonight, put on a phenomenal race here on V-Speed. Also got to thank everybody behind the scenes here: Bradley Cooper, Eddie Smith, Adam Baker, of course, Sky Schreck tonight joining me up in the booth. If you haven't already at home, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action that you can't get anywhere else. The QSR Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series exclusive here on V-Speed. And any final words, Sky, before we sign off for this fun race here at Kansas?
Yeah, that was a great one, and I mean, the championship battles we saw here were really good, and they're only going to carry over into the next 2 weeks, so tune into those as well, because it will be fun.
Right on. For everyone at V-Speed, I've been Morgan Cook. Sky joining me up in the booth. We'll catch you next time here for QSR Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. Good night, everyone.